Hello everyone, this is Charlotte and this is a podcast called Chatting in Cars. I talk about random topics while I drive and I swear and I look at random things and I pretty much act like a squirrel at times. This podcast is designed to just be basically me venting my brain. You don't need to take it seriously at all. I don't take myself seriously particularly at all. I know I'm full of shit and I own it. It's called being an adult. So, there is a disclaimer at the start of this podcast because I do talk about sensitive topics. If you don't want to hear that, that's okay. Most people just put this on the background as white noise because I waffle. And I'm great to sleep to, yay! I also swear profusely, which I'm not going to stop doing anytime soon. Basically because, I don't know if you ever have those parents where they wash your mouth out with soap because you swear or you said something bad. Yeah, I have one of them. So now I swear all the time. So it's a pretty pathetic rebellion, but it's mine and I'm going to own it. Right, the topic for today is drama. I had to remember them because I put my list down for a second there. The reason I've chosen drama, basically I'm an introvert and I don't like drama. What I did was I got a text from my mum. Now my mum's just had a hip implant. She's got a new hip. Essentially, they took her old one out because it was fucked up and they put a new one in. That was on Monday. Okay, so she's bored as shit, sitting in a hospital bed at this moment, annoying the fuck out of everyone who's not, immediately around her, because she's one of them. She enjoys drama. She fucking loves it. Now, growing up, she was a fucking berserker. Everything was elevated. I don't know if she's been conditioned to act that way, if she was a natural inclination to act that way, but to say our childhood, my siblings and I, childhood was unstable is an understatement. Both my parents were berserkers. If you've listened to any other of the podcasts before, you would know the kind of shit we had to go through. So, you could have gone two ways there. You could have lent into the drama and become crazy drama-seeking people, or you could have gone the other way. My siblings and I have just basically gone the other way. We seek quiet, calm stability because we've got two parents that are absolute fucking nuts. So my two sisters and my brother and I we're not about the drama. I mean, at this point we've been conditioned to sort of, try and have some kind of, relatability to our parents. At the same time, we know that they're drama built in. My younger sister and I have tons of fun dissecting my mum's fucking texts between the two of us because it's like, this bitch is crazy. So she's sitting in this hospital bed at the moment. I'm going down on Friday, so I'm spending the weekend with her just to check she's all right. My brother's going down weekend after all that, so we're not ignoring her, not in the slightest. Plus we're constantly texting this woman because she doesn't fucking let up. She's bored, essentially. My dad is off doing his thing because my dad's Peter Pan syndrome incarnate. He should be in the hospital bed with her. We've all got to work, all the kids, so we haven't got a chance to get down there. Plus, she lives 2 hours away. So it's like, I don't have time to just fuck off down there and back again to come and check you're all right. This is why we relied on Dad, which was a fucking mistake in the first place because even growing up, he's been unreliable. So we'll just have to see how that goes. You make your bed, really, don't you? When you choose your life partner. So, Friday I'm heading down there to check she's alive still. Because my dad's fucking useless. But in the meanwhile, she's bored as shit. She's had to do a 3-day overnight thing, so it's Tuesday now. She's been in overnight. She had her operation yesterday, so tomorrow she's getting out, essentially. She's treating it like a prison sentence. I got a text this morning. It's like, oh, how'd the operation go? Oh, yeah, we're all right. It's all the same business, the usual shit that goes with a person that's just had surgery and all that. And then at the end of the text, she's like, oh, did you hear about there was an explosion in India? They blew up a convention centre in some of the churches. And then she went on this massive rant about how Putin's, Putin and the US and they're fighting and it's a world war and all that. She loves the catastrophizing of it all, the drama of it. And I'm sitting there thinking, now she is a devout Jehovah's Witness. Anything slightly like this, it's Armageddon. It's the end of the world, she's one of these fuckers. I'm sitting there going, Jesus, woman. Oh, Christ. I was raised a Jehovah's Witness. I mean, they're beautiful people. They're lovely people. They're very wholesome, lovely, fluffy people. But they do tend to lend themselves to crisis situations, like at the drop of a hat, And there's this thing going through where they regularly get told, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. It's like, so you're hyped up as it is. She's already paranoid about this shit, and she lives for the drama. So, of course, this whole thing is, oh my God, it's Armageddon. I'm sitting there going, what the fuck, mate? You've just had hip surgery. Would you sit down and shut up? It's a case of that. I'm not worried about that shit that we have no control over. And I know, and I'm well aware of what it's going to be and the ripple effect of all these fucking idiots in their ivory towers throwing bricks at the people who are they meant to be looking after. I'm well aware of that. I mean, fuck's sake, I got a degree in it, but it's like, you just live for the fucking drama. Are you bored? She had 4 kids. She raised, dragged up 4 kids, I should say. I'm not even going to comment on the quality of that. So it's been full on for about, my younger sister left when she was, I think, 25, because she couldn't find someone else. It was something like that. So she's had someone in the house up until 25, what's that, like 10 years ago? And after it was empty nesting, everybody's left and they've gone off and started their lives, had their own families, stuff like that. It's been non-stop. How can I make drama to make people pay attention to me? I mean, we are well aware that she's a narc. We are well aware that she's a detention-seeking narc. My dad is not. He's happy ignoring people and wants to be ignored, so he can sleep and read and just fuck around, basically. But my mum is all about the drama, and she uses drama and guilt tripping and shit like that to get attention. And if she's, at the moment she's fucking loving that she's had hip surgery, because it means that all the kids are going to go, oh, mum's just, she's had surgery, it's a big one, we're going to have to go and check she's all right. And, oh, are you okay? And here's your flowers and your chocolates. And fuss. Now, I'm not one for fucking fuss. I hate that shit. I hate extra attention from myself. I really fucking do. To me, it implies that you think I'm weak. It's like, I don't need the extra attention. Fuck off, I can manage this myself. But to someone like my mum, it's an audience, isn't it? It's extra attention, it's drama. Now, piled on, she's already got that attention. So on top of that, she's now starting on about the fucking Armageddon stuff. So I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, woman. Oh my God. If she wasn't a witness, she'd be a fucking Catholic. I swear to God. It's like, oh, it's the end of the world. And she's Irish, So it's like, oh, Jesus, we're all dying. Fuck, we're fucked. She's got a Cockney accent, but she's just, you can tell she's fucking Irish Catholic, So you can tell she came from that fucking lineage. It's always about the fucking drama. Slightly starts to rain. It's gonna fucking bucket down, we're gonna die. It's like, would you sit down? It's not the end of the world. And I laugh about Catholics, but I'm allowed to because I come from a line of them. So, I'm allowed to laugh about that. And Protestants too. I can have a fierce riot about that. But it's a cultural thing, I think. It's partly cultural, partly because she's come from a drama-laden upbringing as well. And now that she's got an empty nest and she's got no kids to fucking, control, manipulate, rule over, put into service for herself and whatever she wants, she's stretching out her fucking claws to try and get us back in with anything that she can get attention with. And at the moment, it's fucking Putin in the US. I'm sitting going, since when have you ever fucking been political in your fucking life? My dad's been the one that's been political. We never stopped fucking hearing about it. The guy is berserker over religion and politics, why we're never allowed to talk about the fucking stuff. Because he just kicks off, he goes fucking nuts. It's, oh Christ. When the Twin Towers went off, Jesus Christ. He was a bigot. He's still a fucking bigot. I'm sitting there going, Jesus Christ, how did I come from you? I don't know. But that's the thing, it's good though. Because you look at these people and you've got these anti-role models and you sit there and think, they're getting this way about this particular topic, I'm going to go the other way. I don't want to be a bigot about this shit. I'm more inclusive and I like to expand my understanding of different belief systems, religion, because my dad is such a, fucking tight ass about his beliefs. But my mum's the other way, similarly. They call it dogmatic. I still think it's bigoted. I do. I'm not shitting on religions. I do feel they are training wheels for morality. You are taught a lot of good practices that keep you clean and wholesome and all this kind of thing within the realms of religion. But again, they are training wheels. You're meant to look forward past all this. You're not meant to, read it for gospel. People who look at the Bible and they look at these stories. Now, for me, looking at the Bible, it was a message that was portrayed through stories to make them relatable to the people that were hearing and reading them, okay? So they could understand what was going on. People take them for literal fact, gospel. I mean, it's a figurative book for me. It's not fiction, maybe. It could have been based on real people. I'm not saying that Jesus didn't exist. But you're missing the message by, counting the details. It's like these people, for me, who, they glorify the Holy Grail. First of all, he's a carpenter. Second of all, most of that shit was stoneware in that era. So I don't even know where you think they got this golden cup from. It just doesn't make sense. Even a wooden cup would have been a stretch. Everything was clayware. It doesn't make sense. Or you got like the saints with their pointy fingers that are magical. I'm sitting there going, this isn't fucking E.T. You're not gonna, you're not gonna save someone by chewing onto someone's finger. It's weird to me to see all this extra shit. Maybe if you'd listened to what people have actually said in their time. I mean, they were conduits for the divine, obviously. They had the right message, and that was obviously divine intervention. Jesus' stories, for example, were, just look after each other and don't be a fucking asshole. Generally, that was it. But they're looking at, like holy grails and shit like that and saying, we can't do anything if we don't have this magic gold car. And you're sitting there going, it doesn't make a fucking dent. How much glittery capes and pointy hats you've got if you're missing the fucking message. It doesn't matter. Oh, Christ. But I just found it fucking annoying, to be honest. Now, I'm not against religion. What I am against is people who, use it as a vehicle for promoting fear. What happened with my mum is she loves drama, as I've said, copious amounts. She seems to believe, thanks to her beliefs, because she's followed all the dance steps, that she's on the right side, and whatever comes, even if this is Armageddon coming, that she'll be fine. In her particular belief system, there are 144,000 that are going to be fine. And I'm sitting there going, it's a lovely idea. Couple of billion people on the planet, they can't all be evil. I have a problem with this, but okay, a devil's in the detail, right? I don't think the divine's going to start wiping out babies on the off chance that they haven't got that magic flame on their forehead. I don't think he's that cruel. I just don't think so. It seems outlandish. Now, someone's pulled this number from somewhere. Okay, so maybe that was the training wheel side of things. But the thing to understand about this was this 144,000 that were meant to guide these people to the levels of morality because they would be perceived to be clean. Have you listened to the message they were meant to be doing? They said that only these people will survive Armageddon. I'm sitting going, first of all, it's way too many people for that. Second of all, that's a very exact number. It's like, that seems odd. Not one person more will survive, If Max is sitting there and he's the leftover one, and he stubs his toe somehow, he's going to die spontaneously. I don't know, foot explodes or something, just to make sure that he's not fucking up the number. I don't know. It seems outlandish. So obviously they've got it from somewhere. Maybe something to do with units of measure they were using at the time. I don't know. I'm going to have to look into it more. I probably should know that, considering that raised a Jehovah's Witness, I should have been looking at the details, because they do go into the history of where this information comes from and stuff like that. And one of the texts I remember reading about when I was younger was the Book of Reasoning, because they'll sit there and they'll explain, oddly enough and ironically enough, where all the information comes from and how people try and weasel their way out of being good people and stuff like that. And you sit there and think, well, this is no-brainer. I don't need this, but okay. But again, training wheels to understand what the divine message is. Generally, don't be an asshole. Stop trying to get out of doing nice things for people because, there's a whole big message there. But it gave me the shits, quite frankly. Because my mum has this air about her. She loves drama so much that she thinks she's on the winning team. Now, it's just human arrogance to assume you're on the winning team just because you've danced the particular dance steps for a couple of years, It's like, I must be right. I mean, some people claim it to be faith. I call it to be human arrogance. It's like you assume you're right. We won't know till we get there, and that's part of the fucking joke, really, isn't it? And to be honest, if you do have any kind of belief system, I think it's a case more of looking at what you did as an individual. I think the Egyptians might have it closest to heart, you know, when they sit there and measure the heart with the feather. It's not the deeds you did, it's the intent you did it with. Can you say that you actively lived a life that was clean, that didn't hurt anyone, that didn't want to promote any kind of sense of pain on someone else or discomfort or stuff like that? It doesn't matter how many times you got on your knees and prayed to God, he's still listening constantly. He is constantly in your ear. That's why we have an inner monologue. You know, he's listening. He's always listening. We're in constant conversation with mum and, you know, the universal mum and God. It doesn't make sense that you would think that you need to formalize that kind of stuff. He's your creator. He created you. Of course, he's got to have a constant umbilical cord to your brain. You know, it doesn't make sense. It might be a spiritual 5D one, but at the same time, it's like, I think the formalization came from, you know, trying to get undereducated masses to want to participate in some kind of morally, well, controlled environment or practices. Because you get a bunch of undereducated people, they're quite dumb and they will fuck things up. If you can tell them these are the steps you need to do in order to stay clean and alive for a couple more decades, follow the steps, and it's like a no-brainer kind of thing. We look at it now and it's like, well, that's obvious. I mean, you know, don't do drugs, don't drink excessively, stuff like that. It's a no-brainer shit. We know now because we've seen the science behind it as well. But, you know, when you've got people saying don't drink excessively in biblical terms and stuff like that, because they've lived the experience of what happens when you do, you know, in order to keep morally clean, you avoid it, right? Some people just need the steps. They haven't got the common sense, particularly if you're, you know, living off land subsistence farmers, I guess. I don't know. People that have no access to any kind of, you know, because common sense is only built from, you know, interacting with other people. It's shared information. It's that communal information that lets people know what's right and wrong, only people who lived experiences. You know, and you figure out, you know, which berries are not the ones to eat, because apparently Fred got, you know, moided by eating the wrong green berries, you know. It's like, well, that one died from that, so let's pass that information on because that's useful. Problem is when people start saying, I'm not passing that information on to that person, but I will gift him these green berries, then it becomes a fucking problem, and then you've got to question morality into it. And I'm not going to go into, you know, Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, but, you know, some people are very fucking grey area in the morality center. You know, it's creepy. That is a terrible book, by the way, if you want to read that one. It's horrible. It's horrible. Like, grandmas get bashed, and hookers get murdered, and horses get beaten up, and I'm sitting going, what the fuck's wrong with the Russians? Why are you beating up all these people? It's the brutality of the times. Like, no, you psychopath. But then again, that's the question, isn't it? It's like, the whole point of that book is to make you understand your moral judgment in particular contexts. It's like the whole time this guy's trying to escape just paying his rent, I think, I don't know, and then murder. It's like, I got no rent. I know what I'll do. I'll murder my landlord. Oh, no, wait a minute. I've just committed murder. That seems worse than not having rent. It seems worse. But from what viewpoint? Because now, fuck it, I can just run away. It doesn't make sense. To us, of course, from a westernized viewpoint, where everything's punished if it's not deemed within, you know, appropriate within certain social contexts, obviously. But don't go around beating up grandmas, man. That's just ethically wrong, regardless of what culture they come from. Okay, I would not recommend. It's insane. Leave the grandmas alone, man. They're old. They can trip over like futons and shit and shatter their spines. It's not nice. Just leave them alone. Don't beat them up because they haven't got the money, right? They're all on the pension. But you know, it's the drama associated with it. And I like to keep a nice, clean, calm kind of life. I don't like drama. I hide from people for that exact reason. It's not really hiding, but more like keeping myself separate from them. I go in hermit mode quite a bit just to avoid the shit that comes with just hanging around people, whether it's the negative shit like, you know, lying, cheating, stealing, all that kind of crap, or the positive shit where it's where you have to fake being nice just to associate with these fuckers. You know, I avoid that shit because it's all so fucking stressful. It's an energy drain and I just fucking hate it. I'd rather just be on my own. Some people, you know, get energized from it. I fucking hate it. I'm going, I have trouble pretending to be nice. I can do it, but I hate the fakeness of it. I'm sitting there going, if you've acted like an asshole, I'm not going to smile in your face. It's very Caesar, isn't it? You know, smile in your face or I'll stab you in the back. I don't know how you're going to do that. You must have a very long fucking neck. But at the same time, yeah, the logistics of this is insane. How did you do that? You got very long arms or a very long neck, I don't know. But it's stupid. I don't like the two-facedness of it. It's like with my old social, well, not my old social, I don't think I ever fit in, but the fact is they're being nice, and in the workplace I should say, they're being nice, but then you've got maybe the politics of the workplace where everybody's backstabbing looking for your job. Or you've got the politics of the social group, like the one I just left, which did not reflect my peak coming of age social groups at all. These are very nasty, bitter people that just backstab, steal boyfriends and all that shit. And if you've listened to the other podcast, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's a bunch of 20-year-olds acting like cunts. I'm not going into it because it's just insane. It's not worth my fucking time at this point because I know where they're going. I know what the patterns they're doing. It doesn't make sense. But, you know, it's the fakeness. You know, what is it? Terry Pratchett says, traveling up through the ranks comes from the emptying of dead men's shoes or something like that. Is dead man's pointy shoes. I love that. I can't remember what it was, but it's the it's one of the Rincewind books. I fucking love that series. But he's a good writer. It's a pity he got dementia and died, but you know, he was awesome. He has a very expansive mindset for understanding how society works. And he just made it into fictional, humorous stories. If you ever get a chance to read any of his series, Terry Pratchett, it's amazing. Or the Discworld series. He's funny as fuck. He's got one of those quirky-ass senses of humor. Weird Sisters, all about witches and all kinds of weird stuff. The Light Fantastic, I think you should start with, though. I'm probably wrong, because it's probably not his first book, but yeah, it's one of his best. And Mort, you know, it's great. The Hogfather, I always watch that every Christmas. Anyway, so drama. What do we do when we're faced with people who fucking crave drama? Besides, if you're me, I hide. But I've always been that way inclined. It's like an introvert, autistic, just avoid the fuckers. It's too complicated to interact with the fuckers. And this way you keep yourself clean, right? You don't have to deal with people's shit. And there's always that sense of belonging as well. They want you to belong, so they want you to believe their shit. I don't understand that as much, because I've got like issues with understanding social cues. I don't get it. If someone does something mean, I think, oh, they're an asshole, treat them like shit. Not that I do treat them like shit, I just tend to avoid them. But there's also that bit where people get the hang of, you know, people's an asshole to them, or someone's an asshole to them, I should say, more grammatically, and they'll smile, and they'll just go with it because they know somewhere down the line they're going to get something out of it. And I'm sitting there going, but these people are assholes, they're dishonorable assholes, why are you being nice to them? They're not nice people, they'll fuck you in the end. It's like when people talk about when they've done a business deal. One of the most recent metaphors, I'm not sure if it's a real life experience, someone's done a business deal or attempting to do a business deal with someone, and they just figured out that they cheated on their wife and they dropped the business deal because who's going to do business with someone who's not honourable, who's not going to, I mean, if your wife's the closest person you're ever going to have, I mean, physically inside her, right? Imagine what it's going to be like for someone not as close to you as like a business partner. Unless you're fucking a business partner. I don't know. But if you're going to be dishonourable, why would you associate with people who are known to be assholes? For the sake of assuming that you're going to win. How do you know they're not going to turn on you anyway? You could go into Machiavelli about that, actually. There's a lot about that shit. I've got his birthday, funny enough. I've got Machiavelli birthday. I don't know if it translates. You know, in esoteric terms, there's a significance to the number of your birthday and such. It's like, oh, you got Machiavelli, you must be like him. It's like, no, actually, I'm pretty dense. Don't care. Yeah, no, it's fun to think about, though, because apparently there's also importance in the name that you've chosen. Well, you chose for yourself preconception when you were in the ether as well. My name means like a man. I'm sitting there going, oh, fuck. Did I choose that one? But my middle name is Elvish, so, you know, I was named after an elf forest because my parents are insane, apparently. You know, she's small and furry, let's call her an Elvish forest. My real name, and of course I'm using Charlotte as an alias because I don't want my kids knowing about the weird shit that happens to me. My first name, my real name, is Italian. I'm small, pale as fuck, and ginger. Nothing about me screams Italian. My middle name's Elvish, and the only thing I got for that is like fucking pointy ears and maybe a yellow ring in my eye, around my iris, and I got blue eyes and pasty ass skin. I don't know. I do not look elvish unless you got like short ginger elves, like Irish ass elves. I don't know. So if that's true, that we get to choose our names before we're, conceived in the ether and shit like that, I was like, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Like, I think I had aspirations to greatness. I don't think I fulfilled them, considering I became like a shit ass primary teacher in the middle of fucking nowhere. It's like, no, I planned to be bigger than this. I feel it was not given the opportunities. Yeah, no, it's fun though. It's a fun theory to look at, because I love looking at divinist stuff. I say divinist, it's an umbrella term for looking at basically shit that's theology based. But I love looking at religions, belief systems. They're fun to look at. I want to understand where these people have got these ideas from. That's the main thing. That's why I took up my sociology degree. I got a bachelor's in social sciences. For behavioural, actually no, wait, hang on. I've got a bachelor's in social sciences. I've also got a psych degree. Oh, hello. Why are you on the road, idiot? There's a guy on the road, on a highway, on a push bike. No armour, no nothing. I'm like, yeah, you attempted something. Anyway, but yeah, no, I find social stuff intensely interesting. If there was a practical side to having a sociology degree, I would have used it. But, that's why I became a teacher. Because there was pay and jobs in being a teacher. My interest is in sociology and history, but there's no jobs. So Mum's like, you're going for a teacher job. I'm like, oh no. You're going to hit me again? No. This time. Oh my God. But no, my parents chose my future for me, essentially. By, obvious means. But they love the drama. So my mum's an empty nest, and my dad is oblivious to this shit. He hasn't contacted me in fucking months. I think the last time he contacted me was when I was getting my taxes done by him, which was July last year. I don't think he likes drama, to be honest. I think he's past it. But he lives with my mum, who fucking loves it. Even when she got out of hospital, my dad just sent me a text. Your mum's out of hospital. I'm like, oh, good. And then I was trying to start a conversation because I'm still trying to build some kind of fucking relationship with him, even though I'm nearly 40 and he's, nearly dead. So I'm like, oh, is she okay? And I was worried about her breathing and stuff because she's like diabetic, she's got asthma and all this kind of shit. And apparently her heart has some kind of irregularity when it comes up when she comes out from under the anesthetic or whatever it is. And I just got ghosted. I'm like, you fucker. But he does that. And why are you not holding this conversation, you bastard? It's like, whatever. Anyway, my dad, the original ghoster in my life. That, and he never answers his phone. I'm like, you're just a bastard. What if we needed you? No, wait, I've had, nearly 40 years of proving why I can't rely on you. So, yeah, yet another format. But drama, huh? And there's people, like, I've had experiences where I've had car accidents as well. Like, my ex-husband, we had this horrible, well, it wasn't really horrible experience. This woman was like 3 meters away from the car and she rode a bike out. Honestly, I don't know if her brain glitched or if it was an insurance job, because afterwards the insurance people came looking for us and we had several witnesses saying she rode a fucking bike out. It was a no-brainer. I'm sitting there going, I don't know how you thought you'd make that distance. My ex-husband was driving at the time. We pulled over. She was fine. She bounced. It's like, I wish I could have empathy for someone who, purposely rides out with 3 meters to spare in a fucking 60 zone. But, we checked she was all right. She had a couple of bruised ribs and it's like, it's silly. And we called an ambulance and all that kind of business. So we're not completely neglectful of our duty to humanity. But people, fucking got out the car and they're hanging around and they're just sitting for the drama. And it's like, I don't know why you're here. The ambulance has been called. Everything's been sorted. Why are you fuckers hanging around? And I think it's the anomaly of the situation. It's not every day you see someone go launched off the front of a Barina. It's silly bitch as she was. I don't know what she was thinking. But, it's some people just love the drama. It's like they're that bored with their everyday life that something that would normally be a horrible experience, like someone getting hurt, they just fucking love it. They go and aim for it. It's like these people that chase ambulances, not just lawyers. But, it's like, well, you love hearing about the drama. That's why people you know, listen to the news so much. It's like you can hear a million stories about one bad experience, you know, one conflict, one this, one that, but people will sit on it for days just drinking it in because they love the shit that comes with it. I don't know, is it dopamine fix? I don't know. My mum's the same way, essentially. She loves the idea that, you know, Armageddon's coming, and she thinks she's on the right side, and she's got this very petty, fuck everyone else mentality kind of way, and I don't know who's hurt her. But obviously, someone's hurt her, and she's more than happy to see people go down for it. It's like, I don't know who it was. But that's not a good way to look. If you're looking at people from a sort of Christ mentality, Christ-like consciousness, you would still acknowledge that there are people, even in Armageddon, or circumstances like that. All these fucking religions, belief systems got their own version of Armageddon, whether it's a flood, whether it's fiery jinns coming down and burning people and all kinds of fucking shit. There is an end of times apparently coming. That's the common factor here. Honestly, I think it's a mechanism for control, but okay. We won't go into that today because there's a big discussion. But some semblance of your humanity should be, you know, even in a Christ-like mentality, you should be sad. You should be sad that people are going to get hurt. You should be sad that even though they're evil, it's a waste of life. It's a waste of potential. It's all this sadness. And it's horrible. Because my mum's like, well, fuck him. And I'm sitting there going, you can't just say, well, fuck him, dude. You know, there are babies and kids and innocent people in that crowd. At the moment, she's looking at the Gaza Strip going, I'm sitting there going, don't you fucking dare. Don't you breathe. Don't you say anything about that. I mean, I haven't picked a side, but at the same time, I'm like, there are innocent people here getting fucked over. No one is winning this. No one wins from this kind of experience. It's just pain. We all look like fools for, you know, just even getting involved and picking a side and saying so-and-so should win. So we all look like idiots because we're all embracing shit that shouldn't have fucking happened anyway. It's just insane. We should, as a species, have outgrown this shit. You know, it's the fact that we're still doing it is the equivalent of throwing shit. That's how I see it. I don't see it as any kind of sensical thing. People just reacting in a very primal, primitive way that we should have overridden by now. But it's that inability to control their ego and their emotions that causes reactions. And I'm sitting there looking at humans as a species. I'm not picking a side. I'm not looking at a cultural difference or a religious difference. And I'm just sitting there going, this isn't fucking right. We shouldn't be doing this anymore. We should have outgrown this. And it's still going. And it's a case of an anomaly like, say, Putin standing up and saying, I'm doing this, because he's got an over-pumped up ego and a shitload of yes men saying yes, because if we don't say yes, you're going to, you know, remove our families from the planet. Or, you know, people marching under a flag that they don't quite understand the ripple effect of, but they think it's a good thing to do. And they've done it for so long and they've got a whole party of people backing them up. And you sit there and think, but if you consider the actions of what your people are doing, it just doesn't make sense anymore to be doing this. I mean, looking at the Russian economy, for example, as soon as that Ukrainian invasion started, they fucked up all the growth that they had made, the oligarchs, or whatever the fuck they are, the economic growth they had made since the Cold War era, just to try and stabilize the fucking country. If you can stabilize the country economy, you can stabilize the culture, you can start spreading, you can start having a safe population of people, right? We were trying to forget all the weird hostilities that happened during the Cold War era, right? But now you got fuckward Putin standing up and saying, I've got a boomer bucket list and I'm going to live it. And I'm dying anyway, so I'm going to take you fuckers down with me. You know, it's essentially that. You just fucked your own people. You don't care because you're not going to be there in 10 years when all this shit has fallout. You just don't care. That's the thing. It's like, and they've let him get away with it because either they're afraid of him or, you know, he's very protected. This fucker is hard to get to, apparently. He's got, you know, safe places and decoys and stand-ins who take his place when shit seems not safe. So somehow he's managed to get to a position where he's very fucking protected and he can just keep going on with this, you know, essentially dictatorship. He'll fuck up eventually. Something will get him that's out of his hands. I mean, divine intervention, God willing, right? But, considering how many people you're willing to murder just to be right, doesn't make sense. But that kind of shit we should have outgrown. It's infantile. No one should be doing this anymore. We're all too tired dealing with COVID as it is. There is a conspiracy theory that COVID was released in order to cause this kind of chaos, so that, if you're looking at, I think it's Lao Tzu or Suzanne or whatever it is, anyway, out of chaos, always in the midst of chaos comes opportunity. So if you created a global instability, it's easier to pick off amongst, misinformation and chaotic behavior and things like that. It's easier to hype up crowds to get them to do what you want. Providing you give the right intel and cultivate the right environment, they'll follow your flag because, the masses are morons. But, and they want to be right. And there's a collective mentality where if one person says this is wrong, they tend to stamp it out because the majority say it's right. It's tall poppy syndrome mixed in with nationalism and stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, I honestly thought we'd outgrown this shit because it's just infantile. It doesn't grow anywhere. Eventually Putin will die one way or another. He doesn't give a fuck. The amount of devastation he'll cause in his wake might think about Hitler, right? And I know I keep going back to that because that's the most evil person we've got. Although there was also, a whole bunch of African dictators and Asian dictators as well, if you look back at it. But that's the most, the one that stands out the most is you've got an asshole. But the wake that came from his actions and behaviors, the Holocaust, things like that, it's like we still understand the tragedy of the situation today. We've done this. And the shit that will come after Putin will be exactly the same, if not worse, because the weapons are bigger. And, people just like, why is no one trying to sniper the fucker? It's like, because we've seen this before. We've seen this pattern. We know this one. We can take him out now. We can preempt his moves if you try hard enough. But no one's taking the balls to fucking do it. Honestly, I thought it was going to be his Wagner group would hand him into the ACC or CCA or whatever it is, for war crimes because, he dumped on them. The leader suddenly went missing and a helicopter comes in and going, you are cultivating your own downfall by fucking your own people this way, particularly your own soldiers. It's like you haven't learned from history yourself. And if anyone sort of disagrees with them, they go missing. It's like, you're not making friends here, dude. Clearly we didn't read the same study on benevolence and leadership. So you're not going to win. It's odd. But honestly, I wish that we would just outgrow this shit and just get on with it. We've got stuff to do. This is just undermining everything. And some people might put it down to evil or label it as evil, but realistically it's human nature. An overdeveloped ego. And others who are too afraid to cancel it out for fear of being not considered part of the group, or for, they've got their own motives, maybe they're getting money out of it or something like that, power. It's all manipulation, it's all infantile. And ultimately, your soul rots from the inside. You're going to fuck yourself in the end. Someone will turn on you because they're using the same fucking tools that you are. Those who live by the sword die by the sword, essentially. If you're going to spend your entire life manipulating and controlling people in a horrible, nasty way, they're going to turn on you and do it the same fucking way back because you've shown them the weapons you're willing to use in order to control them. They'll use it back. It's like you've shown them how to do it. You've shown them what to use. I mean, they're just not thinking. I'm not going into that any further because I'm running out of time. Right, what to do with people who love drama? And I know this went a bit weird, a bit haywire. If you're like me, you can avoid them, or avoid them as much as possible. I would not buy into any kind of bandwagoning. I would try and look at things critically. Look at what they have to gain from saying this kind of shit, that feeding the drama, feeding the misinformation, stuff like that. Try and understand why they're bothering to participate in this at all. If you're looking at people from a general, like suburban masses kind of thing, understand their day-to-day logic. They're just trying to get through the day. They've got their own little family unit they're trying to protect and grow. They don't want to create problems. They want to be in a peaceable situation where they can just get on with their daily shit and not have to stress. Particularly when it comes to their pay. They just want to get paid. anything that is small, like car accident stuff that's out of the ordinary and it's an anomaly, it's interesting. You might draw a crowd. I don't know. They're quite thick that way. But they also get very paranoid about things that happen in the news. It's how the media makes money, really, isn't it? Because you've just exaggerated these situations. Maybe. I'm not there particularly, and I wouldn't, dull down anything like what's going on in the Gaza Strip, because I know that's a fucking crazy shit fight of whatever the fuck's going on. It doesn't make sense. But consider there is a knock-on effect, because we're all globalized now, everybody's connected, but at the same time, people will feed on the drama in suburbia, in the middle of a first world country. They'll see what's happening on the Gaza Strip and freak the fuck out. And it also adds to the heightened psyche of the area as well. It feeds into everything else. So you do develop this sort of sense of adrenaline rush from understanding or hearing about or seeing things like what's happening in the news and stuff like that. So if you want to cut down, I wouldn't say cut out, but cut down on social media, you could. Might do some good. I mean, how many times do you need to hear about, shit going on and getting blown up? and we've got graphic video about arms and legs and stuff going on. I mean, once you've seen one, you've seen them all, really, haven't you? Honestly, you could probably wait till halfway through and just get a summary of what's going on. So I would avoid that. You just got to stress yourself out. I'd avoid people that seek out drama. Like, there are extroverts who actively go looking for problems. There are people in social groups that actively create problems because they want to be center of attention and they love the fucking drama. My previous social group, as I was talking before, if you listen to any of the podcasts, they love gossip and backstabbing, shit like that, because it gives them some kind of sense of worth. They call it mind games. I call it pathetic immaturity. It's like you just love the gossip. It doesn't make sense. It's not conducive to any kind of growth in your life. It's a time waster. It's busy work for stupid people, honestly. We give kids colouring sheets. At this point, we're giving 20-year-olds gossip and backstabbing because they're dumb. It keeps them busy. And it's that kind of shit that will keep them in a low-paying job and not doing anything with their life because they spent all their time backstabbing and bitching about stuff and not actually getting a fucking real job or a real life or trying to settle, build any kind of empire. It's moron stuff, Avoid the morons if you can, right? There was a point where I wanted to fit in my early 20s. I tried to understand what was going on. That's partly craving stability, thinking that these people might have some form of stability that I could understand and maybe replicate because, my autism kicked in. But then, in hindsight, looking back, it's like, these fuckers never have any kind of stability in their life. They live for drama, they cause problems. I mean, there's one person who's friends with my ex-boyfriend called Jezzo. He's like, if you can't look at that person and tell me with the amount of restraining orders and illegitimate kids and drug habits and rehab and all that kind of, you can't look at this individual and say, I shouldn't be replicating or hang around this person because he'll lead me into the same shit that will fuck up my life, then I don't know how to help you. It's like, I got my ex-boyfriend idolizing this asshole. I'm going, what the fuck is wrong with you? Oh my God, he's awesome. He's like, you are insane. You got no sense whatsoever to not see the logic where that fucker is going. I was like, I don't know. Some people just live for drama. I don't know what my ex-boyfriend's particular background was, because he never fucking said anything. He admitted everything and he lies. So I'm like, I don't know where you're coming from. I'm trying to understand him for so long. I'm just trying to pull him apart to understand why you're acting this way and, can I help the situation, make it easier? But, the more you try and attach emotionally, the more they push you away. And it's like, fuck you, I don't care anymore. So he sabotaged himself there by pushing me away. But anyway, plus cheating, all that kind of fucked up stuff. So that was dumb. But, you sit there and think, why logically would I look at someone whose life is chaotic and try to be like them? And some people go, oh, it's exciting, it's new, it's fascinating, it's different, but it's also drug addiction, child abandonment, crime, restraining orders. You can't get a good job with a restraining order, dude. They'll look at you and say, wow, the fuck do you do in your free time? I don't want that on my job, on my workplace. You're fucking yourself. You're cutting your own legs out from underneath you to be idolizing these fuckwits. It doesn't make sense. You want a good life, you want a good, stable life, go and look for people that have done it and done it good, done it better. They've got their I mean, if you're looking to have a family, go and look for someone who's got a good family, who live in a good area, they've done the right things, they've gone through uni or whatever and got a good job. They're mentally stable, emotionally stable. They don't do drugs. They don't, they don't do all that dumb shit. Because it just lends itself to destabilization. It's weird. Some people crave that. I can't see it myself. But then again, I've come from a trauma background. I'm craving stability and peace, like, just because the first 20 years of my life were fucked up. And then I married into an asshole. And then I've dated an asshole. So it's like, I am craving avoiding assholes in general at this point. I would recommend it. There's an amazing amount of peace that comes with just being on your own. And some people say, you shouldn't isolate yourself, but at the same time I'm sitting there thinking, if I avoid assholes, I don't get cheated on, I don't get lied to, I don't get my shit taken off me, I don't lose anything. I can just work in peace on my own, building my own empire, and I'm happy. I don't have to serve anyone, I don't have to put up with anyone's shit, I don't have to constantly compromise or just give in because it means like they'll have a tantrum or something if I don't. It's just, it's so much more peaceful just being on your fucking own. And I say that from, obviously a trauma background. Some people are happy to sit with people and be maybe more forgiving than I am. But at the same time, I'm sitting there going, I've had enough. I've had enough. Oh my God, have I had enough? And at this point, it's doing me a great favor because, I'm rebuilding things that were broken down by people who love the drama. And it's like, if you associate with people who love drama, you're going to attract drama into your life and day to day. I would not recommend it. It destabilizes and fucks up all your plans. It's like when you're kids and you've built this amazing little block tower or something, and some arsehole who loves fucking riot and chaos and drama comes in and kicks it over. And you're supposed to get along with this person, you're supposed to be nice because you're all kids, and if you don't be nice to this person, if you don't, you're gonna get in shit. But at the same time, you're like, if I could, I'd beat the fuck out of you. I really would, But I'm 5 and I won't, I guess. We're conditioned to be nice to these assholes, but at the same time, you don't have to put up with that shit. I mean, unless your income is based on it, I would assume you're going to try for a different type of job or something like that, because we all have to work with assholes. I've got a few where I'm working now. But at the same time, I don't associate with them. I certainly wouldn't associate with them after work hours. If I'm not getting paid, I don't want to be around them. I would not consider them friends at all. Just because they're that type of person and loves the backstabbing bullshit. And I'm like, nope, I would not put that in my free time. I'm not wasting my breath on that. Just to say I can associate with people. If you can avoid it, do it. If not, try to minimize it. And that's pretty much a pattern for anything in life, really. Anything that's negative. I'm going to leave it there because I'm sitting outside my brother's house. I've got to go apply for some different jobs at the moment. So I don't trust where I'm working. I just, something is uneasy about it. So I'm just going to see what else I can apply for. I hope you have a fantastic Tuesday. Hopefully, you're going to find a calm in the chaos. And right now the world feels like it's burning, but it's been burning for a fucking long time. And the reason why it seems so crazy right now is because we've got mass global communication. We can see it all now. Everything's laid out clear before us because everybody's talking about everything that's happening. It's not just a case of some shit's happening in a foreign country. We might hear about it in a couple of months because we got letters. It's like everything is instant now. We see everything instantly. So it feels crazy. Everything's heightened, but I don't want you to find yourself in a situation where you're overdoing stressful situations and circumstances, because you're already, predisposed to feeling hyped up and chaotic. There's nothing we can do about what's going on in the Gaza Strip. This is a political issue. You can protest if you want to, as long as you're not rioting and looting, I think you'll be all right. But, it's not something we have a hand in, realistically. Unless you're feeling inclined to go and, mobilize yourself and go fight for someone. It's like, which is a bit crazy, but, it's up to you as an individual. An autonomous adult, it's up to you. Ultimately, don't let that shit get to you. I don't say that, and it's like, I know that with some people turn around and say, oh, now you've said it, I just won't, because sure. That's how it works. It's like when people say, don't overthink it. I'm like, oh, you just said it now, so obviously I won't fucking overthink it. But honestly, consider how much we actually have an influence on. We are looking for stability in our immediate. as people who live in like suburban areas or maybe even urban areas. Try and understand what you can actually do as an individual in the immediate. If it has any kind of knock-on positive ripple effect, that's the best. If you can minimize any kind of drama, I would, because we're just trying to get along. As soon as you add drama and chaos, shit goes tits up. So the thing is and it's very British, to keep calm and carry on. You know, it's a very British, it's a very, you know, everyone knows the saying and we all know where it came from. But it's true, never a truer word said. It's like, just fucking keep calm, use your brain, figure out where it's coming from, why it's doing this, and keep going. There's no point getting crazy about shit that you can't control. Work with what you can control in the immediate. Other than that, try and make yourself feel nice for a little bit, because all we really have is moments, really, isn't it? I'm going to leave it there, because I've got to go and do some stuff. All right? I hope you have a fantastic Tuesday.